Brother highest paid quarterback in the NFL for the moment. Not only has Jalen Hurts been to 2 Super Bowls, which is 2 more Super Bowls than Dak Prescott has been to, he's also been to 2 NFC Championship games, which is 2 more than Dak Prescott has been to. So it's 3, I'm sorry. So you got that going on, right? It's 2, right? So not only that, but a rookie in Jaden Daniels went to the NFC Championship game. A rookie. So you got a rookie. And you got a dude that's a second-round pick like Jalen Hurts, and they've been to NFC Championship games, and in Hurts' case, multiple Super Bowls. And Dak Prescott, in his 9th year, approaching his 10th year in the league, can't even get out of the divisional playoff round. But he's getting his money, though. I'm just saying. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, one of my boys texted me that just a few minutes ago, reminded me of that. He said, wait a minute now. Is Dak Prescott. What's up with him? Because based on how Washington has looked and based on how we're talking about the Eagles, we talk about the Dallas Cowboys battling with the New York Giants for last place in the division.
Ooh. I've always felt like this because a lot of times people say, well, this guy's better than you, this guy's better than that. What somebody else does doesn't impact me and what my career is. I look at Jalen Hurts, and I don't think it has any impact on what these other guys do. These other guys are standalone. They'll have their moment. But what Jalen Hurts did impacted him and how we talk about him Saturday moving forward. Next fall, when we come talking about quarterbacks, he's one of the guys that won a Super Bowl and has a Super Bowl MVP. We can no longer use that caveat because I think we've undervalued him because he's never going to be aesthetically pleasing like some of these other guys, throwing the ball all over the yard. That's not what they ask him to do. And I fell trapped into that because I wanted him to throw the ball over the yard. But they don't ask him to throw the ball over the yard. He only threw the ball 22 times on Sunday. 22. They ran it more. Saquon Barkley had 25 carries.
That's right.
So you see the way they're built. They're built to run and throw out. They're going to throw it when they want to, but they're not going to let you dictate when they throw it and how much they throw it. So for me, I don't think it impacts Lamar. Lamar is a 2-time league MVP. If Lamar Jackson quit playing tomorrow, Lamar Jackson is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, I'm not so sure about these other guys. I'm not sure Burrow is a first ballot. I'm not sure Josh Allen is a first ballot. But when you are Lamar Jackson and you're a 3-time first team all NFL player, you're a two-time MVP, yeah. But I don't think it impacts. You got to be careful because you know the old saying, what you eat don't make me go to the bathroom. What Jalen Hurts accomplished should not impact one iota. What it should do is make us highlight and emphasize just how good Jalen Hurts is.
And I agree with the part about Jalen Hurts. Like, I think he is way undervalued. I've defended him all season. And their style of play, right? And I think that's what I love about Jalen Hurts is that when he threw for 60 whatever yards and everybody's talking about his yards and feet and, you know, all that kind of stuff, he don't get up there, man, and divide his team, right? He is the perfect teammate. That's why they win. And when he's asked to do something, he continually shows he's fully capable of doing it. I will say this, though. The pressure to me does go back to the top quarterbacks of our game. And I'm putting that in quotation because there's a lot of them, right? I mean, the Burrows, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens. Take Mahomes out of this category because he's in a category all his own for how his career started. But those guys, in the largest moments, Hurts continues to show up. Those other guys have got to put themselves over it. I understand Burrow beat Mahomes to get in the Super Bowl, but then he loses to Stafford, right? So at some point, the completion of the mission matters. Here's the other thing. It does put Jalen Hurts in the conversation of MVP because he's going to be on that. I mean, and again, this is trajectory. Like all these guys got to finish, in my opinion, they got to finish strong in their careers. But with Jalen Hurts, he gets in that same conversation because his numbers will never be the 5,000-yard seasons, right?
Yep.
And so it doesn't make. But what he does, Super Bowls are what will put him over the top. Yeah. And I think that's what he's been to 2 already in 5 short years. So he's done it quite well.
Let me ask you both this question. Do we know for sure he's never going to be in that 5,000-yard category? Because according to him, just because I don't doesn't mean I can't. just because
I don't know if they're going to give him the opportunities.
Yeah. No, I think he can. I think he can. I don't think that's. I think Philadelphia has a very unique style of the way they want to play. Howie Roseman understands it. He wants to play tough defense. They want to set themselves up. They're going to have a good offensive line. His Jalen Hurts' ability to run and throw gives them an advantage. And I think they're comfortable with the Vic Fangio style defense where they're tight. They don't have to go. Listen, it is a low risk, high reward way of winning. And when he does that and you can accomplish it and your quarterback doesn't try to force things, that's what Jalen doesn't get credit for. He doesn't force anything. Nope. He allows the game to come to him, and ultimately they end up winning. That's why he's the teammate he is.
Tell me if you agree with me, Stephen A. and Saturday on this.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts' career is going to be like Troy Aikman.
Yes.
Because he had Emmett behind him, Troy wasn't allowed to throw for 350, 400 yards very often. I'm not so sure how many 400-yard passing games he had. All he did was win.
Yes.
He ran the football, played behind an outstanding defense.
Yep.
That's what they didn't ask Troy to do what some of these other quarterbacks were doing, but they were winning. They're not asking Jalen Hurts to do what they ask a Josh or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson to do. But look at it, Josh Allen, defensive coordinator, got fired.
Yep.
You look at Joe Burrow, his defensive coordinator got fired.
Right.
Now, Vic Fangio is going to have this job as long as he wants it.
Absolutely.
And so that's the question. That's the way I look at Jalen Hurts. He's not a guy that they ask to do, but when they ask him to do what he does it, he get it done.
He shows up and does it. That's the whole thing. That's what I was saying all season. I get frustrated with how people talk about all that stuff, man. Dude, do what you're asked to do. If you do it and excel at it, that's what I want. That's the kind of dude I want to play with.
Yes.
What kind of dude you want to play with? You think it took away from John Elway?
But hold on, Jeff. You're right. You're right. But be fair to the audience from the standpoint, there's a reason we do it, because we're talking about individuals. See, we don't just talk about the teams. We highlight the individuals. Like when we talk about Cincinnati, we ultimately come back to Burrow. When we talk about Buffalo, we ultimately come back to Josh Allen. Same thing with Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, et cetera, et cetera. So when you're individualizing a talent, especially in the day and age with so much money at stake, the contracts that are being doled out, you don't walk into the negotiating room talking about your teammates. You walk into the negotiating room talking about you. Right. So as an individual, we get to look at you and say, okay, to get these type of dollars, what are you bringing to the table? And we analyze your skill set accordingly. You know, but if you look at Philadelphia, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead, Shannon.
Let me say this. This is the part that me, for a former player, and I hope you feel the same way, that bothers me, right? Is that I'd rather win more Super Bowls and nobody on my team ever be the MVP than worry about an MVP or an All-Pro. And I'm talking about myself, too. I was All-Pro. I was all those. I'm not a Hall of Famer like Shannon, but I've had all kinds of career accolades. Man, for Super Bowls, bro, I'm trading them all. Dog, you keep winning Super Bowls. We used to say it in our locker room, we win playoff games, we're all getting paid more than we should. Yeah. Keep going that way.
Go, Shannon.
Everybody eats.
But when we look at Jalen Hurts, I think the criticism at the beginning of the year was warranted. He was turning the ball over at an alarming rate.
Right.
Stephen A., we asked the question, the year they went to the Super Bowl, and he finished second, if I'm not mistaken, in the MVP.
That's right.
Is this the new norm, or was this an anomaly?
Right.
Because the following year he came back and he turned the ball over half the season. He had more turnovers in half the season than he did in the entire season. Yeah. So that's what we were asking, and he picked right up. He was turning the ball over earlier this year.
But I love that. But here's the thing. He also had another coordinator. Again, right? He's had, coordinator after coordinator after coordinator.
3 years.
Yeah, like part of that is just getting adjusted. Like it doesn't just.
But Jeff,
the reason Kansas City's been so good is they've been so
leaving
stable.
out one thing.
Andy Reid, defense coordinator, all that. It matters, y'all.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But Jeff, you being a center, you being on that offensive line, you knowing everybody talks about the brain trust of the team sometimes is at the position you played and played at a very, very high level. If you remember, there was a storyline that talked about Jason Kelce and what he meant to the team, and how there was so much that he did that Jalen Hurts didn't have to do. Right. So once he was gone, it was such an incredible adjustment to be made. That combined with losing your offensive coordinator after going to the Super Bowl played the role as well. So there's a maturation process that he has validated that has taken place, and credit to him for that. But prior to the validation, there were legitimate questions, as Shannon pointed out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His checks too. Steve, you just brought it up. His checks this playoff, checks into runs and checks into passes, bro, was lethal. You got to freaking give him dap for that too. It was freaking it was stellar performance.
And this team should stay intact.
Yes.
You're done. So am I not going to see you for a minute? No, you're here tomorrow.
No, I'm here tomorrow.
I'm not here tomorrow.
Oh.
Jeff, you're the best.
It's been so much fun. I appreciate it. So much fun.
So much fun. All right.
Bấm mãi không được một của mình. Vâng.
Chơi là thành viên